got here? G85, and I have it set up with a little L bracket. It just works because it gets my hand away from the camera. Hey, Knoptop here, and I don't even know. Just got back from a video shoot. Let's see, 6 hours, half-hour lunch. 5 hours or so of shooting, multiple locations, indoor, outdoor. I knew it was gonna be run and gun, but I also needed to be able to carry everything. So for sure, always, tripod. This is the Manfrotto, my one and only, really the most expensive tripod I've ever invested in. I always make sure, before I take it out, always make sure I got the plate in there. Just look at it every time. Just keep looking at it, make sure I got the plate in there. If it's not in there, I check the camera. Took the tripod, in case we needed it, didn't need it. Took Reflex shoulder rig, in case I needed that. This thing, I love it. Love the adjustable hand grips. Griffin uses one. Fully adjustable, it's got quick release plates, super awesome, guys. I think I was supposed to pay them for this. Sorry guys, I don't think I've ever reimbursed you for letting me use and borrow this. It's covered in this yellow tape. This is gaff tape. This is the only color I have for whatever reason, but I have this so I can just peel it off if I need it. This isn't just to make it look cool or anything like that. Sometimes I need gaffer's tape. I didn't want to take and carry this whole roll around. It's kind of ridiculous. I just knew if I needed a couple things, I could just peel them right off. So I usually keep them on my shoulder rig. So they're right next to me. Reflex shoulder rig. It's awesome though. When I do need it, it works. Let's see here, aperture LED light. This thing came in really handy today. This thing's super bright. This thing really throws some light. This is the Aperture HR672S. It's got a remote control, it's got batteries, it's got a plug. Here, let me just plug it in real quick. I'm gonna do an official review of this thing really soon, but let me just take these big NP batteries. All right, here we go. I put this, let me turn it off here. I put this incandescent filter on because we were doing some indoor lighting and I just needed to fill it. Look at this light, look at this thing. This thing really throws some light. What? That thing is like the sun. This was the first time I've actually had a chance to use this. I have a smaller one I usually take with me. I'm so happy I had this with me. I needed every bit of light that this thing threw. Links to all this stuff are gonna be in the description if you wanna check those things out. Actually, I'll just put one link and I'll just put it to an Amazon wish list thing so you can check them out. And I also grabbed my little mini tripod. This isn't a tripod, this is a light stand. And I always make sure I have a ball head on the top of it. I always recommend if you ever take one of these, mount a little ball head adapter to mount your light because there's times where you want to tilt your light down or tilt it up. And it's kind of frustrating when you go to set this up and then you're like piling books under one end and just to get that lean. You know what I'm talking about. That was sweet, glad I had that. And our 5-in-1. I have literally never used this. I'm usually shooting everything by myself. Whew. And I had a larger one that I never used, so I gave it away. Ooh, got a little smuts, I used it to sunshade, and that worked out. Glad I had that with me. Makes it look like I know what I'm doing. I was happy to actually get use out of that. This is, I think, the perfect size, and I'll link all this stuff in the description down below, but a lot of this stuff I bought years ago and I've never used it, but I know a 5-in-1 filter was something I've always wanted. And I keep calling it a filter, but I guess it's a reflector, a 5-in-1 reflector. Actually, the one thin layer can be used as a filter. It's sort of a sunscreen. 5-in-1 reflector, says it right there. 5-in-1 reflector. So awesome, glad I had that. In the backpack, my script. I always like to clip on these little things. These are little note cards, hook those on there. And we didn't use any for this, and I always make sure like to have a pen. Oh, they snagged my good one. I always take two just in case. I try to have like 2 colors of markers, so if I need to make notes and stuff, I can write on there. But I like to have the note cards just in case they need to have little cues or notes. Didn't need them today. And of course, laptop. Had the laptop there for offloading some media and for previewing on a larger screen, testing audio and stuff like that. I think that's a necessity. Case Logic bag, this thing's awesome. Dave Dugdale actually was the one that informed me about this bag years ago, and I ended up getting one and I use it ever since. It fits everything I need. This is probably gonna be a mess in here because I just kind of threw everything in here. Oh boy. I got my Tiffin filters. Variable ND filters are nice. These are just solid ND filters. So this is a 0.6, a 0.9, and a 1.2, I believe. I used to use a variable ND filter, but these work really well. Video Mic Pro, wasn't sure if I was gonna use this, but I did, and it worked. I hope it worked. Battery's off, always check that. Saramonic wireless lav mics, I did a little review on these. They've been working really nice for me. I like them, I'm really happy with them. I paired these with the Rode mic and did a little wireless boom as well. I did it all today. Got my battery chargers. I got one official battery and 2 Watson. And the Lumix G85 with this little elbow bracket. It just works because it gets my hand away from the camera. And I did this specifically to mount my receiver. Instead of mounting it like there, where it's like kind of in my face, I like to put that thing up here. And so that way it's there, I plug that in. Actually, just do it. The G85 doesn't have an audio out, but I was able to monitor my audio right here on that. So that's my setup. I really like it. It's the cheapest way to have like a cage setup. And because there's 2 mounts, if I really was going wild, I could just mount this here as well. Look at that craziness coming at you. So I could just switch out and just run my Rode mic if I wanted to get some ambient noise or something. I want to go over this G85 eventually because there's getting some real world, real life experience on it. I'm finding some little quirks that are bugging me, specifically this little guy right here. I'm holding the camera and it's hitting my hand constantly. I'm dremeling that thing. You watch me, dude. You just watch. So this is the setup. I always take this L bracket with me. This thing is just nice. I use this even on the 60D. I would use this a lot. You don't need a big frame. They're super cheap and it's a really nice setup. And that's just how I rolled right there. I like to take this pistol grip with me as well. I didn't use it. I usually take a pistol grip with me specifically to mount the mic if I need to. This could go on the bottom. This gives me a center point and I can just rest my elbow against my body and then I can just kind of go like that. But I had my shoulder rig, so I didn't really need it. This works out. This isn't, whoa. Let's just take that off. Okay, what do you say? Let's just take that right off. Specifically for that reason, I mount it directly to the camera if I'm gonna use it. Right now I'm recording with the Zoom H1, but sometimes I'll put the Zoom H1 on this handle. So I always like to have a pistol grip, just in case. Oh my gosh, did you guys see that? That spin? The extra cords, I always like to have my extenders. This is a Rode mic official extender. I like to use that just to make sure there's no problems. This is an audio extender in case I need to run a line if I'm getting any weird interference over the wireless. I also like to take, this is a Runcam 2. Sometimes set this up as a third-person perspective. Mostly try to shooting behind the scenes, but I do like that it's orange because I can set it somewhere, film a little bit and just get some behind the scenes stuff, or even get like just a wide shot. Nothing that I would ever use for the actual video that I'm shooting, but it gives me just a third-person perspective if I need to just see what my lighting setup was. Or, oh my gosh, did you guys just see that? See that handle spin around? That camera almost fell off. You see that? See, that would have been that thing if we would have been running. But I take it with me. You never know when you might need a random wide-angle lens. This Runcam 2 will connect to your phone, and so you can offload video from it. You can set up different settings, shoot 60 frames a second. And windscreen for the Rode mic, just in case, for the outside stuff. A couple of extra memory cards. I always look real quick, make sure there's a couple extra cards floating around up there. Extra USB cables, and I didn't use these, but I always make sure they're in my bag. It's my white, gray, and black cards. But these are really helpful because you flash these real quick, and now you can color chart them if you need to fix anything in post. Headphones, these are just earbuds. I was gonna take my big headphones, but these earbuds I just wanted to reference, make sure I could hear, make sure there was no weird feedback or anything like that. On the side here, I make sure I got a little table tripod, this little thing. And like I said, I'll link all this stuff in the description if you guys are interested in it. There's a lot of stuff that I realize that I'm gonna have to take out of here. I just don't use that much. But everything fit in there really nice. And this little setup right here with this elbow, call it the elbow, but this L bracket, this is an ideal setup right here. All right, so there it is. This was the most ideal mobile unit, I think. This backpack, we walked around all over town. Hope that was helpful. I know it's always neat to see what other people are using. I would always recommend taking a tripod, even if you think you're gonna run handheld. Hope that was helpful. Knoptop, a little bit different. Thanks for watching. Go make something.
This works out. This isn't, whoa. Everyone, can everyone breathe? Can we breathe?